on Raw tonight, I was pretty fucking pissed about some of the treatment of Paul Bearer's passing. Paul Bearer, just a huge part of Raw history. With The Undertaker, with Kane, before that with the other wrestlers that he's managed. This opening, I was absolutely fucking livid. I mean, you've heard me rant about the treatment of Jerry Lawler's heart attack. You've heard me rant about all kinds of different things, that there's right and there's not right, and some things are just fucking not right. And when we're having a tribute to a man who has given so much to this business, and we decide that we're going to interrupt it to get some cheap heel heat, that's just not fucking right. That is absolute bullshit. Angry Tensai in the chat room is saying WWE has no respect for anyone or anything. And after a night like this, I absolutely agree with that. I am disgusted. I am appalled. And I've heard the arguments, oh, well, Paul Bearer would have loved something like this. He'd have been all over it. Well, he's dead. He can't really give his approval now, can he? You don't fucking do shit like this. What if, and I'm gonna draw some heat here, and I really, frankly, don't give a fuck at the moment. What if the week after Owen Hart died, somebody had pulled something like this to get some cheap heel heat? Would that have been okay? I mean, people could say Owen would have loved that. I mean, his family's all about wrestling. We could do that. After Chris Benoit, would we have done something like that then? After Eddie Guerrero, would we have done this? This is bullshit. Someone asking in the chat room, are you all really pissed about this? It's storyline. I don't give a flying fuck that it's storyline. It's not right. You don't do shit like this. Somebody lost their life. People who knew him are hurting. They are grieving. You don't disrespect that. That is bullshit.
Well, here's the other side of the story. And the reason I can tell the other side of the story on this is because unlike some nasty rumors being spread by trollmongers on Facebook this weekend, yes, Killer Kev has spent some number of years inside the pro wrestling world. So here's actually a little bit of insider information. And some people who think that they're a part of the inside of the wrestling world, who really think they're part of the business, may disagree with quote unquote breaking kayfabe. And for all that's worth, you motherfuckers can kiss my fat white pasty ass. But here's the thing. Pro wrestlers actually dig this shit. The actual pro wrestlers are a fairly tight-knit group of people, and they're really closed off, to many parts of the outside world. You think you know a wrestler, because he's posting on Facebook or posting on Twitter, because he's got a social media account somewhere, because he touts or has a YouTube channel or even his own DVD series. You don't know these guys. You really don't. They deal with a lot of things because of the business and because of the drama and the backstage issues of the business. They deal with a lot of things that you don't get to see, you don't have insight on. And one of the things that many pro wrestlers have to deal with frequently is the passing of a fellow pro wrestler. And they talk about they do actively talk about how they want to be treated, how they want to be remembered in this business. And really what this comes down to is anytime that you see something like what happened tonight, where a pro wrestler or a manager or something along those lines is being remembered, and then some asshole heel comes along and completely shits on the whole ceremony and everything, that's by design. And that's because the wrestler who passed away would have wanted it that way. And that's just not bullshit. Wrestlers know how they want their image treated. They know how they would like to be used, because they know that after they're gone, they're still going to be used, in a variety of ways. And there's all kinds of things you can do with a wrestler's memory. And it's not uncommon for a wrestler or a manager to go ahead and pass along and say, hey, when I'm gone, go ahead and mock me or use me in this way, put me in a storyline, use it to get some cheap heat. It's just what wrestlers do. And it may not make sense to a lot of people. And a lot of people are going to get upset about tonight and say it's not right and disrespectful. And if you were dealing with anybody outside of the wrestling business, you would be absolutely right to say that. But because we are dealing with pro wrestling, it is something that is really handled on an individual case by case basis here. You'll notice that, for example, with the passing of Chris Benoit, the night afterwards, there was no joking about it. With the passing of Owen Hart, there was no joking about it. And that's because those individuals really treated their wrestling career very seriously, and they were extremely highly respected by their peers, that they would not want to do anything that portrayed disrespect. William Moody, I didn't know him personally, but from all the accounts that I've heard about him over the years, this absolutely would be something he would approve of. If he had a last will and testament, it wouldn't surprise me if this showed up in his will, or it was at least common knowledge among his peers that go ahead and use him in this sort of manner. Because in the end, what happened here? CM Punk came out, pissed off the fans. CM Punk got cheap heat at Paul Bearer's expense. It's the ultimate tribute for many wrestlers going out. It's like, much like the way many wrestlers will do when they retire from the business in their last match. More often than not, when a wrestler is retiring, that retiring wrestler will lose. He will lay down on the mat, take a pinfall loss.